Hey guys, today we are actually going to look at the legal case. I know with all the interesting stuff that is coming out, it is impossible to remember what is this case actually about. Well, the case is about the prima facie case of the contributory copyright infringement against the H-free snark mods. Now, this is very important because if Denims actually is not guilty of copyright infringement, there is no contributory copyright infringement. The prima facie showing requires a plaintiff to produce competent evidence supporting a finding of each fact that is essential to a given action. So the elements of contributory copyright infringement: direct infringement by a third party, defendant knew or had reason to know of the third party's infringing activity. The elements of direct copyright infringement are ownership of valid copyright and violation of alleged infringer of at least one of the exclusive rights granted to copyright infringement. Copyright registration establishes a prima facie case of ownership. So this is very important to know. This is why you registered your copyrights. Now, again, if you just publish on YouTube, you do have copyrights as soon as it is published, but it's so much easier in terms of legally to sue somebody when you don't have to prove prima facie, right? Because it's already assumed because you registered it. The H-free snark mods failed to demonstrate fair use. And if Denims is guilty of copyright infringements, he does have defenses. Fair use would be the most important defense. The purpose or character of the use, nature of the copyrighted work, the amount and substantiality of the portion used, the effect of use upon the potential market for or value of the copyright work, market replacement, essentially. All right, so let's take a look here. The H-free snark mods failed to show they made a fair use. The H-free snark mods incorrectly. So in an interesting parallel, the H-free snark mods have to argue, and successfully, one of their best defenses is to just straight to argue that, hey, there was no copyright infringement from Denims. What he did not do copyright infringement. So in fact, they are literally on the same boat, right? Because that's what Denims is being sued for, is what they're being sued for as well. Whether third parties commented on the works in the post is irrelevant because the issue here is the H-free snark mods use, not third parties. The H-free snark mods failed to show Denims made a fair use. The first factor weighs heavily against fair use. It relates to the problem of substitution, whether the new work supersedes or supplants the original. Does it add something new with a further purpose or a different character? The mere fact that a secondary use has some further purpose or adds something new does not render use fair. Rather, whether an allegedly infringing use has a further purpose or a different character is a matter of degree. So how different was the Denims live stream from the original Ethan Klein live stream? The first factor is related to the justification for the use, both in broad and narrow sense. In the broad sense, a use is justified if it has a distinct purpose that furthers the goal of copyright without diminishing the incentive to create. A defendant copies more than is necessary to facilitate comment or criticism. The first fair use factor does not favor fair use. The law is clear that to be considered transformative criticism, the aspect of the work that reproduced another's protected expression must be in service of commentary on that work. Further, when the commentary has no critical bearing on the substance or style of the original composition, the claim to fairness in borrowing from another work diminishes accordingly. If it does not vanish, and other factors like the extent of its commerciality loom larger. Correct. So here we have, basically we're running down the fair use. That's probably Denims' best argument. Now, Denims made about 15, 20 different arguments, including unclean hands, which we can get to later, but you can kind of ignore those arguments. This has to be the main argument when BC's claiming fair use. Reaction videos that intersperse short segments of another's work with criticism and commentary is considered fair use. Countdown episode. Denims streamed almost the entirety of the countdown episode concurrently with TEI's original broadcast. So yeah, also very important to understand is like, when did you stream it? So if somebody was streaming, if Denims streamed Ethan Klein's live stream after it was over, probably a much better argument for fair use, right? But you were streaming at the same exact time, right? So again, there's a mitigation here that exists, right? What type of intent was it malice? Was it intentful copyright infringement, or was it just negligence? I didn't know this was copyright infringement. I think when you're streaming something at the same time, it's really hard to make an argument that you didn't have malice to do it, right? Because again, you could have just streamed it later. The nuke, Denims received approximately 45,000 concurrent viewers, the most concurrent viewers of Denims' entire career. Denims' purpose, and this is, again, is like, how much did Denims benefit, right? It seems like she benefited quite a bit. We're relying on you to stay live so we don't give more views to the nuke, to which Denims replies, I'm going to. I'm going to stream it since he confirmed it's coming out today. We are going to stream it. Prior to and throughout her watch party of the nuke, Denims promptly displayed the Cryon watching Hassan content nuke from Ethan Klein. So she was already pre-advertising that she would watch at the same time. Denims' conduct during her watch party was fully consistent with her statements. Denims failed to address the majority of points raised in the nuke. So it would be one thing, to watch something and then have commentary as like, I don't agree with this. No, I don't agree with this. That's how a React video should be, right? It should add elements that are not pre-existing in the original video. Incoherent, unclear utterances, speaking with her chat about unrelated or minimally related topics. It really does appear that she has 45,000 people. A lot of them are just there to watch the video, right? But they don't want to give Ethan the ad revenue or the support. So they're watching. I mean, I don't know how else you can say it. Denims then goes on a diatribe why Frogan is more American than her, which has nothing to do with the nuke. To be certain, there are moments where Denims makes a highly transformative use of the nuke, where nuke seeks to expose how Hassan radicalizes individuals who hate Jews in Israel. The second fair use factor, the nature of the copyright work, typically has not been terribly significant in the overall fair use balancing. It examines the extent to which the original work is creative and whether it is unpublished. So this is not going to add much value to the discussion. The fact that the work was published does not weigh in favor of fair use. The third factor weighs heavily against fair use. The third factor examines the quantitative amount and qualitative value of the original work used in relationship to the justification for that use. So if you're going to use 100% of somebody's work, that's a lot. That is a lot. If you use 5%, 10%, the exact number is important, but it doesn't matter as much as the content. Like, what actually did you use? Let's say there's 4 hours of video, but there's only 1 minute of actual good content that everyone is looking to know. And if you use that 1 minute of content, you could actually be way off worse than if you use the other 3 hours and 59 minutes of video. So it is quite possible that the amount of content is superseded by the quality of the content that was being used. Is that what everyone's looking to view? The fourth factor weighs heavily against fair use. This factor is undoubtedly the single most important element of fair use. While the first fair use factors consider whether and to the extent an original work and secondary have substitute purposes, the fourth factor focuses on actual or potential market substitution. This is why it's really important, right? So market substitution is this replacing, did people watch on Denims' channel that if Denims wasn't committing copyright infringement, they would have watched on Ethan's channel? So this is almost akin to damages. Like, one of the crazy things about a lawsuit is most people have good cases. They just can't prove the damages. There's not like a damage. Like, it's very difficult to prove like what the actual effect is. So the extent of the market harm, whether the unrestricted or widespread conduct of the short engaged. Denims knew her watch party was a market substitute for the work. So this is really clear because Denims herself, if you want to watch it, come enjoy the watch party somewhere else. We're relying on you to stay live so we don't have to give more views to the nuke. To which Denims replied, yeah, I'm going to stream it since he confirmed it coming out today. We are going to stream it. And I know all the people didn't want to give the video another view. Which is why they watched it with me. So this would typically be quite difficult to prove, but you got Denims herself, I guess, self-owning herself. I don't really know how to say it, but this is really stupid. And again, this was before Denims had their superpowered lawyer attorneys. I'm sure the superpowered lawyer attorneys are not happy she said this. If someone watches content on someone else's stream, there is a very low likelihood that they're going to watch it separately and give you the view or the like. Yep, Denims, again, that makes sense to me, right? And then how do we know this? Well, Denims herself said so. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Bye, guys.